Hey, oh, who's that I see? Oh, it is. It's you. All right, it's time to get going fast. And we are going to install Mochi, which is the cool video gen stuff. A lot of us been trying to work with Cog Video and not had a ton of success with it. And the reason is going to be coming down to that it works so good with Linux, but not so well with Windows, but that's okay. We've got this Mochi stuff going on. And guys, this is such an easy install. Okay, we're going to be installing a application that's called SwarmUI, which honestly, this is going to open up the door to us to do so much more stuff. And look, we're going to be able to run Flux with it. We're going to be able to run our comfy workflow. I've created this video gen pack that is going to actually give you animated diff, stable video diffusion. You're going to be using Mochi. You're going to be generating so much with this that it's going to keep you busy for a long time. This is really cool stuff. In fact, I'm throwing my normal comfy UI installation out the window as it's not needed, as this fully runs inside this and does so much more. But we're gonna jump into this. We're gonna get your Mochi installed very quickly, and then I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna show you how to actually use this thing. Okay, so before we do that, please do like and subscribe to the channel. I certainly do appreciate it. The girls think it's so cool. You know, like that picture of the fellow at the beach, and it's like you know, the scrawny guy, and he's like this. And then and the guy's like kicking the dirt in the sand. Then he comes back a little later. And he's like bigger and he's kicking the sand in the bully's face. Well, that's like this, man. You start out all scrawny, but you doing these things, and then pretty soon you're like, and the women are like, oh my gosh, you do AI. Ooh, tell me more about it. So that in itself is great reason to get into this and be spreading the word. So I certainly do appreciate you for doing that. I also want to mention on our Discord, come over and hang out with us on the Discord. We have a lot of fun over there. We're helping each other out with different stuff, just being goofballs. We got several bots over there, so you're welcome to come create images for free. We got a music player. We've got different bots that say stupid, silly things, and just kind of, you know, it's a good community. So you're welcome to come be part of that over on the Discord. So moving on from that, let's get to installing Mochi. Yo! All right, so as I mentioned it, we're going to be actually doing this through an application that's called SwarmUI, which, guys, really, as far as I'm concerned, I'm getting rid of my comfy UI installation because you can do everything in this. And I really suggest that you guys go ahead and get this installed. If you're going to be doing your video gen stuff or doing anything with comfy UI, you can do it all within here. So you can be working on workflows. You can just be doing your straight generating, and it's through here that we're actually going to be using our Mochi stuff. So I really suggest that you just get SwarmUI and use this as your main thing. But let's go through how to do that. So we're going to go over to our browser, and what we want to type is SwarmUI. Of course, the UI meaning user interface. Okay, and then just type in GitHub. Yo. Okay, so it's going to bring up this MC Monkey projects, and we are the monkeys that are going to be working on this project along with them. So it's going to bring us over to here. We don't need to repo any of this stuff. Now, you can, if you want to do this manually, which there's really no reason to, you can actually go down here and you'll see that you've got installing on Windows and then manual Windows install. There really is no difference in this. With this one, we're just going to download one file and then just click it. This is doing the exact same thing, except for that it adds this level of, if you don't have the .NET installed, which is a Windows developer kit thing, you have to actually download this manually. But you'll see, even with the manual window install, you're just going to git clone it, and then you're just going to run launch. There's no real necessity to do it. So we're just going to go ahead up here, and what we're going to do is click on this like bink, and it will bring up a download screen. So save it to whatever folder you want to put it in. I put mine, let's see, over here. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. I put mine just in a temp directory. I already have this installed, and so I'm going to cheat a little bit by we're going to install it into, I'm going to lead you through it at this temp directory, but I'm going to save a little bit of time by popping over to my actual install. I should point out as well really quickly that I'll be running the video gen pack. So I'm going to have some features on here that you don't have unless you install the gen pack. So like the workflows will not come with the regular install. The manager here, which I'm going to show you how to use later on, will not be there, but you will get all of the basics of SwarmUI, and we're going to get you installed with your Flux and with your Mochi stuff. The video gen can be found over here on my Patreon site, which of course is just patreon.com/cognibuild. And you'll just scroll down here. You can find it here, the video gen pack. Okay, the benefit of this, of course, is that you're actually not just getting Mochi. I'm going to actually set you up with animated diff and stable video diffusion, so you can be doing all sorts of animation. Okay, but you can do all this manually too. You just have to create your own workflows. But regardless, we are going to install Mochi because Mochi is really cool. You get some good stuff going with that. Okay, so let's pop over to our File Explorer, and we have this install windows.bat. I'm looking over here. My dog is dreaming over here. He's yipping. So, all right. So we're just going to double click this. Okay. Now it's going to go ahead and bring up a command prompt. Okay. Let's see if we can get this up here. Oh shoot! Hold on just a second. Okay, there we go. So it started out with a little blue thing that was downloading it, and it's going to check to see if you have the SDK.NET. So that's again the Windows development kit. So because it's actually building the app, and then it's going to be running, and it needs to be able to know how to do that. So it's going to download that. You'll see it's upgrade. Mine's already been upgraded, all this blah, 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 blah. Yours might take a little bit longer if it's the first time you're doing it. So it's going to run through all of this, and then it's going to go ahead and pop up this web page. So going back to our browser, you're going to see that it brings up the SwarmUI installer. So this is a really cool installer. Okay. So I'll walk you through the steps. There's a little bit confusing, so you need to pay attention to this, especially if you want to be using your Flux. So this is one of the critical moments here. So if you click just install, you'll miss out on some of the models, like the Flux models and stuff like that. Okay. However, if you're running the video gen pack that I've created there through the Get Going Fast site, you can just do the just install because the packet itself will install everything you need. But let's assume that we're just going. We're going to click on Customize Settings, click Next, okay? Pick whatever you want here. I just click my Modern Dark, okay? And then who's this going to be used by? Just put it for yourself on the PC. So it's saying that you can set this up with local area network access, so like you can set it up so other people on your network could be using it, which is cool, but we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to click on the next. Okay, and then this is a critical point. So for new users, it's talking about the back end. The back end is our Comfy UI. Okay, so if you already have Comfy UI installed and you've got all of your things, you go, oh man, I've got Comfy and it's all set up and I don't really want to change it over. Not a big deal. You can click over here on the experienced users and you can actually set up with your existing Comfy UI. Okay, and so that's basically you'll be setting in the paths to it and doing that kind of stuff so that you can use it in app but from a different location. I'm going to assume that you don't have Comfy UI, or perhaps you had ran the animated diff one, which installed it, and that's all you have. Don't worry, we're going to get rid of your old animated diff stuff and we're going to put it all into here. So we're just going to go with for new users, and what this is essentially going to do is it's going to install in our folders. I'll show you here in a bit. It's going to install a SwarmUI folder, and then inside of that you're going to have a folder called DB Backend, and then in there you're going to have your Comfy installation. It's exactly the same. It's just nestled deeper into the existing Swarm folder. So we'll click here. We're going to click next. Now this is the cool part. Okay, you're going to get to select which models you want to install. So you start with your base. This is a good one. It's 6.5 gigs, so it's not small, but this is a good one to start with. But check it out. Here you can grab your Flux models. Okay, and then you can grab the new Stable Diffusion 3.5. That's really cool. Now, I do want to point out that unless you have a pretty powerful machine, you really probably don't want to be messing around with the Flux Dev. I have 24 gigabytes of VRAM. It still takes, it takes 20-30 seconds maybe to generate an image with Flux One Dev. If you're running 12 gigabytes, it's going to take you a long time, minutes. Okay, so you don't really want that. What you really want to do is just click on the Schnell, which is German for the word quick. Okay, so in other words, you want it's a quantized version. It's still very good, but it's not quite as intensive as the dev. So you click whichever ones of these you want. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and I'll install these. Okay, it's going to take a little bit of time because these are big downloads, but you click next. Okay, so there's your settings. If you want to change anything, you click back. By the way, this is why it was important to do the custom install, because if you don't do it, you're not going to get to pick your models. But again, if you go ahead and you're going over here and just getting the the video gen pack, you can just do the general install, because the pack itself is going to actually install all this stuff for you, and it will give you the options of what you want. But anyway, going back to our installer, we're going to click next. We're going to say, yes, I'm sure. I am so sure. I have thought about this. I have made my life choices. And there we go. So it's going to start downloading these. Okay. Now, what we just chose there was quite a bit. So you got 6.5 gigabytes there. It doesn't say how much this is, but it's going to be like 11 or something. It's going to be like another 11. So you probably got like 30 gigabytes of stuff just in this. This is not a small install. Depending on the models that you get. I think my full install with everything that we're going to end up getting with the Gen Pack comes to about 80 gigabytes if you get everything. Okay, but again, you can knock these things down. So anyway, so you're going to see it's going to go through these steps. If we go over to, let's see if you can. Yeah, you can go over here back to your command prompt, and you can see that it's downloading stuff, so you can see the percentages. But we're just going to watch this. Okay, this is going to sit for a while, and what's going to happen is when it's done, it's going to pop up a screen on your browser. So it'll just open the app in the browser. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit the pause button, because you don't want to sit here. It's going to take a while for this to download. Okay, so we're going to pause. We're going to be right back. Okay. We could try this thing again. I always try this where I like say, I'm going to hold my hand up here and hit pause, and then we'll see how well the time lapse goes. But I always forget. So I'll do this, and then I'll come back. I'll be over here. The hand's in the wrong place. But we'll try it. I'm going to hit pause, and we'll be back here probably in 10-15 minutes when this is done. Download. Hang in there. Don't worry. I'm still here with you. All right. So I got my glass. Oh, dang it. I forgot. Here. And we're back. So, all right, so finished up. Let's pop over to our browser, and you're going to see what it does is it brings up this screen. So here we are. This is where we're at. So you're going to see we've got our image history, presets, models. We'll go through all this stuff. But what we're really interested in is the models button. So first of all, this is just image generation. We haven't gotten to the Mochi stuff yet, but you can see we've downloaded Flux. We downloaded SD 3.5. Here's our old SDXL. It's probably going to be our fastest. These are our most powerful ones. So we can click on this, and you'll see that it brings up our settings over here. Okay, this core parameters is going to be very important as we move forward, even with Mochi, particularly when we deal with Flux and the CFG scale. Let's say we were going to do something in Flux. And I know we're going to get to Mochi, but I just want to show you some basic stuff here before we do. The Flux here, the CFG has to be at 1. Okay, if you try to run something and Flux and CFG scale is not at 1, you're going to get weird images. It's not going to work. So it has to be at 1. Okay, now the other ones, of course, you can then change this up, but I'm going to hit generate and let's see what happens. It's always a bit, I'm using a lot of resources with the videos, but let's see what happens. So it's going to load. It's going to load up. Okay. Now, if you wanted to cancel it, you can always cancel it, but you'll see over here, it's bringing up the preview of this thing. Okay. There we go. And okay, so let's actually see down here. It set our okay, so there's our resolution. So you've got all these little tab things that are whatnot. So this is your basic settings you can play with. So you could have changed it like this, or I could have done it like that. So it did it wider than whatever. So that actually didn't take that long. That's a really cool, beautiful photo. Okay, that's actually really nice. I might right click on that and save that because I kind of like that. All right, so so there you go. That was actually really fast, wasn't it? Okay, so as usual, you put your prompt here, and then this is your negative prompt. So whatever you don't want in there, you can put there. Again, we could change our width, change our height. Now you got stuff like this, a knit image and all this stuff. This is going to be later on. You're not going to be able to use that with the Flux stuff, or at least not without a control net. So you're not going to worry about that. The image to video stuff, you're not going to worry with this. It's going to open up these main ones. Okay, again, steps, we could up this, and then that just makes it get even better. It's just like it goes over it once, goes over it twice, and so on. If we wanted to do something with the SD 3.5, all we got to do is click on it. The parameters over here will change up a bit, and then we same thing. We just click generate, and it's going to actually load the model, and then it'll put it up into here. Okay. So this one actually looks like it defaulted to, oh no, it did it the same parameters. Okay. Okay, so notice this one didn't do so good, and that's probably because the CFG scale on this one's down. So let's put this up to 6.5 and try it again. So the CFG scale is going to be very important depending on which model you're using. Okay, again, if you're doing anything in Flux, it has to be at 1. Okay, obviously here, okay, that wasn't that great. So you need to play around with this to figure out where the correct CFG is, but you can do so very easily over here with the slider. Let's see what it does here. Okay, so there, oh, that's beautiful, right? So there we go. We're getting better in there. So we can scale around in there. So this is our basic image generation. If we want to go over to here, we can click on our comfy workflow, okay? And it brings up a default workflow. Okay, this is the basic default. So up here in where it says clip, this is where you would type your prompt. So it's defaults with a beautiful scenery, nature, glass bottle, landscape, purple galaxy bottle. Okay, when you get, you can move this thing around. When you want to execute it, all you gotta do is click Q prompt. Now, there's really no reason to use this other than use the generate model. And by the way, we can click back and forth while it's doing its stuff. What is that, water sottle? Oh, okay, so this actually looks like the CFG is probably not. Oh yeah, see, look at CFG was set at 8 and we're using a Flux model. This has to be set to 1. Okay, so we can use the arrows or we can just type it in. Okay, now if we click Q prompt again, oh dang it, how'd you get up there? This is one of the things that's a little irritating. Sometimes this gets caught up here and you got to grab it just right and you can pull it over. I don't know how to get it unhighlighted. Okay, whoops. Q prompt. So, okay, it queued it up. I could click here, view queue, and then I could actually delete one of these. Okay. And there you go. It created our thing. So over here under load checkpoint, this is where you could actually go choose your different models. This will become important later with the video gen pack because you have different models that we're using for our animated diff and whatnot. But basically, again, this is your comfy workflow. Then later on, you can view doing stuff like this. You can add your different nodes, which we'll talk about in a different thing. But this is a full comfy UI workflow. All right, and this actually is pretty powerful once you figure out how to use it. But essentially what we want to do is we're going to focus here with the generate tab. Okay, over here, of course, we've got our VAEs, we've got our LoRa's, all this stuff, our control nets. You can download these things. We'll have more videos coming up about how to use this, but everything you need is right here. So again, I'm suggesting to you that you use SwarmUI from now on if you want to be getting into more of the comfy type style. I still like SD Forge and all that kind of stuff, but especially with our video generation, we're going to be needing to use this for Mochi. So let's go ahead and get into getting our Mochi video generation going. Okay, yo. Okay, so this is actually really easy to do. We're going to be coming to this page, okay, and I'll show you how to get. I'll put this link in the description so that you can find it. But if you want to find it through Google, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to type in Mochi. This is the model we want: is Mochi _ preview _ FP8 _ scaled.safe tensors. Okay, again, I'll put this link there so you don't have to grab it. But basically, this is giving us a model that's going to be able to run on our computers. So I think the basic Mochi, the full one, you have to have like 4 H100s, which is just an insane amount of VRAM. So it's pretty amazing they've gotten it for us. But anyway, when you type this in, it'll come up here on Hugging Face. Hugging Face, of course, is the website that we use to get all of our models from. So if you don't have a an account, you should go here and you need to sign into Hugging Face. There's nothing you're going to be doing with AI models that doesn't use Hugging Face, okay? You need it. So it's going to bring you up to this page, and it's going to say the file stored with Git, which is a large file size. It's too big to display, but you can download it. So just what you're going to do is you're going to click it, okay? You're going to download it, and then here's what we're going to do. Let me show you what it looks like on mine. It's going to bring up a screen, and you're going to go to where you installed it. So you're going to find where you installed it. You can click SwarmUI, okay? Then we're going to click on Models. Then you're going to click on Stable Diffusion. Easy, okay? And you're just going to click Save. Okay, now I've already saved it. That's why it's got a 1 there. All you're going to do, okay? It's literally that easy. So once you have done that, you got to wait for it to download. Let's see if mine is partially downloaded. It's a big download. So you can see it's 14.8 gigabytes. That is not a small download. Okay, so you're gonna have to wait for that to get done. And when it is, we're gonna pop back over to our app here, and then I'll show you how to get it going up. So let's go ahead and pause here really quick, and we'll be right back again. Okay, so we went ahead and it's downloading now. If we go over here, you can see in the go over to here. You can see in the models, and there it is now downloaded. So you just got to reset the thing. So one of the things you can do is just go to your command prompt over here and just close it. Just hit the X, close it, and then relaunch it. So then how you relaunch it is you go back to your File Explorer, go to where you installed it, click on your SwarmUI, and then down here it says launch windows.bat. So you just click that and it will load back up. You can create a shortcut to that, make it easier to start that each time. And then it's just going to pop you on back to your browser, and here you go. So I think it'll start you over here on your image history. So click over here on where it says models, and now you're going to see Mochi preview. All right, this is literally all that we need to do. So we're just going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, so now it has actually knows that's the one it's going to use. We can look at our core parameters. We can set our CFG scale. It doesn't matter as much for this, but what does matter is you set your width, set your height. I'm going to set mine a little bit low just for the sake of this thing. But what we can do here is this. Just go right over here, and then you can type in your what you want it to do. And then you can put in your negative prompt, and then all we're going to do is we're going to click generate. Now I think I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller because it will take a little bit of time. I got puppies at the door here, they're howling. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just sake of this. So let's put this down to here, and then let's go ahead and click. Oh, it didn't like that. Okay, so let's go back. I think that's probably too small for it. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, sorry, that was having to do with something else that I was doing. So, okay, we'll set it, go ahead and click generate. Then it's going to go ahead and pop it up here. And just like before, it's going to start diffusing and generating. And we can see it happening in real time. And it will take a little bit of minutes. This is actually going fairly fast. So let's see here. I'm wondering if I should pause it or not. Go check on those puppies. They're like at my back door just wimping and whapping. But let's give it a second longer here, and we'll see how this finishes out. So all we did was we clicked on the Mochi preview. Oh, here we go. Our text to video. So you can check this. You can set your number of frames over here. If we'd have set this frames higher, it would have taken longer, but it'd be look better. So I am going to pause this for just a second, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we can see it's done, but it didn't make a great one. Again, this is going to come back to the issue of our CFG scale, and I should have realized that. For this, you needed about 6.5. So when we're dealing with stuff with Flux, we got to take the CFG down to 1. When we're dealing with SD 3.5, we want it around 2, 3, 3.5. When we're doing Mochi, we want it up around 6.5. So let's go ahead and we'll do another one. You're going to see that the image comes out a little bit better. Okay, and we're back. I had to pause there because I wasn't able to generate with the video going on. I had some bad ones, but then so I kept the frame rate down, but here we got a supernova with a spaceship going off. Okay, so then, you know, it's okay. Now, what you want to do to get better stuff is obviously you can up your frames. So the number of frames is going to dramatically increase the quality of the image, but it's also going to take a lot longer as well. Okay, obviously you can change your resolution, and then to make things smoother, you look for your frames per second, which is all going to be down in this area here. Now, there is something to point out here. When you're doing your text to video frames, you'll notice that you can put whatever you want there, but it needs to be in multiples of 6 plus 1. So notice, obviously, 6, 12, 18, 24, so that's divisible by 6, but then 1 extra, it would be 25. Okay, so if I wanted to pump this thing up high, let's say I wanted to go to 126, well, I would need to do 127, because 126 would be divisible by 6, but then you have to add 1 extra. Now, I'm not exactly sure why that is, but it has to do something with the architecture and probably the batch sizes and whatever. Same thing. 36, you go to 37. So that kind of stuff. Now, notice the CFG scale needs to be around 6.5. Believe you could drop it down to 5.5, maybe all the way up to 7. Again, you can play around with it. What I like to do is I like to keep it kind of low on the text frames until I get sort of an idea of something that's going to be good. And then I pump it up a little bit higher to make sure that I get what I want to do. Okay, so there you have your Mochi installation. It was real easy. We installed SwarmUI, went ahead, added these Flux models to it in the thing. Then we went to the website, found the Mochi model, put it into the correct folder. Once we put it into the correct folder, we just reloaded the whole thing, and she loaded right back up. And all we had to do was go over here to models, click it, make sure our settings were okay, and put something in. And after a few minutes, it worked. Now, if you're running down smaller amounts, it's going to take you several minutes. Usually, for me to run this 24 frame one, which is what this was, just 24 frames, it took 2-3 minutes. Okay, I like to put them up to about 127. That'll take me 5-10 minutes sometimes, you know, dependent. Probably about 10 minutes to get that done. Okay, so it's not a quick process. Again, the best thing to do, I think, is start small, figure out what you want to do, and then pump it up to the higher values. Okay, trying to think here if there's any other stuff that we need to see here. We can in another video probably play around with some of these other settings. I guess I will show you really quickly over here. If you go to utilities, you got model downloader. So from here you can actually go to places like Civitai, and you can find a model that you want to find. You know, I don't know, say you wanted this one or whatever. This is, you'd find a checkpoint, and all you'd have to do is just get the URL. You'd pop back over here and you'd place it into here, and then it will actually download it. So that's beyond the whole Mochi thing. That'd just be for your simple generations, but that is really actually kind of a handy way to add to your checkpoints. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to work a bit with the Comfy workflow. We're going to look a bit more with the video gen pack. You can see that in this loaded up a basic workflow, but it's not all installed. So that's why we load the video gen pack, and it's going to give you everything you need to start working with animated diff and stable video diffusion. So that will be in our next video though. So in the meanwhile, you guys stay good, hang in there, and we'll catch you on the other side.